Put the thing down. It usually helps.
I've been abandoned. Oh, it's a lighting issue. Hi, and welcome to the live stream. Is everyone alive today? How we streaming? How we dreaming? What we scheming?
On?
That on, yeah. Woohoo! How are you today, Samantha?
I am doing all right. I feel like I'm on the up and up emotionally after a tough week being sick and spiraling. Thank you to everyone who watched my Q&A and was very supportive. I wasn't looking for your sympathy, but I did appreciate it.
Well, you're looking great. I love these little braid things.
Thank you. Sorry. This is what you get for being on time for a stream.
Yeah, there's upsides and downsides. And as always, a difficulty, technical or otherwise. It's the name of the game. I'm going for like mid-2000s fuckboy. Is that?
Yeah, I think you definitely look a bit boy band. I feel like we both look a bit boy band, girl band-esque today.
Oh, yeah, totally. Want to start a band?
Yeah, actually.
You actually appear like 3 times on my upcoming album.
Do I get to redo the vocals?
Yeah, of course,
okay,
yeah. Getting
Baby, hi.
Yeah.
Baby, hi.
Today I've just been perusing Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's
Doctor,
Twitter. I know, Doctor.
Cheers, everyone.
I'm Nazi Dr. Leo Spaceman.
As always, we're doing super chats for this, especially for this one, because we don't really have any plan. We have a loose plan for this live stream, but
do we?
If you do. If you want some advice from us, or you want us to read a stanza of your poetry, or you just want to send us some love and support, you can super chat us. Or if you don't want YouTube to take a percentage, you can Venmo us. Oh, I didn't put the Venmo in the bio. Sorry.
Zilf checking in to amuse me on my lunch break. God is real. That's right. We are their personal messengers for you today. I was wondering if you guys have sources for all the Exmo stuff you talk about. I'm making a project and I need sources. I spent like a few years of like intensive reading, like 6 to 8 hours.
We've never claimed to be a source channel.
We're a vibes channel, first and foremost. But some material that was really helpful for me was D. Michael Quinn, Dr. D. Michael Quinn's work. He was a history professor at BYU, was told by, I think, Spencer W. Kimball that he would be an apostle someday. He gave him a blessing and told him that. And then he ended up getting excommunicated for being gay and literally found a bunch of church history documents under the direction of Leonard Arrington and published them. And the church was like, don't publish our history. And he was like, why? It's our history. And they're like, that's not the history we want to publish. And he ended up getting excommunicated as one of the September 6th, which was like a church inquisition month where they excommunicated a bunch of high-level intellectuals, feminists, the ilk of Satan.
Did you know I just found out the other week what the Spanish Inquisition was?
Oh, really?
I would hear people say it and I would use it in jokes, but I never actually knew what it was, but they talked about it in the status game.
Oh, yeah. What a wacky time in the history of religion.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fared well.
Yeah, the Christian state was not a chill, fun, cool time. Anyway, D. Michael Quinn, he does Origins of Power, the higher Origins of Power, Extensions of Power, and then he came out with a third one just before his death on the subject of church-like finances.
I don't know if they still like update the website, but I still use Mormon Think a lot to find quotes really quickly. Ellen is always in our streams. Hi, Ellen. Ray, straight in there with the super chat Venmo. Thank you so much, Ray. We always love you being here. The fact that you seamlessly were able to make a NSYNC joke as well.
We should call Ray Sugar Ray.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Sugar Ray.
Every morning there's a halo hanging from the corner. Do we look like a 90s band?
Do I look like I have strong...
You're looking buff. For a certain money percentage, I will take off my shirt and show you what I've been working on.
Okay, I have not been working out my arms, but I'm like, I look like I have the muscles.
Shoulder tone.
I know. Why? From what?
I'd say the lighting and all your exercise.
I do.
What else is going on, y'all?
Yeah, what's up? I'm gonna have to.
This is a conversation here. We're not just gonna spitball. We're not. We can't.
I'm
just
gonna open up
freestyle.
the chat here because it's
Okay,
so
it does
small. We
help,
have to like squint, and it makes us very.
Where did Tanner get this haircut? Did you find the person who offered to cut it before? I got this particular one at Jed's, and and I think Jed's is a chain. I don't think it's just a Utah thing either. But they had a sign that said "Walk-ins welcome," and it had a picture of Christopher Walken, and that joke is so done. But then when I was needing a haircut before a trip, like really quick, I was like, well, I know somewhere that takes walk-ins and they give you a little massage and like they
you
have like
to
a
act
gun.
like you're not enjoying it too much.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh.
You're like, I'm
they
barely
wash it.
even
It was like really
present for
nice.
Yeah, it's always like when they do the massage, I always just try and be like, I barely feel anything.
Just pee my pants a little.
Ray said I started meditating a couple of days ago because Sam inspired me.
Aww.
For my next trick, I will inspire myself to meditate.
Meditation, I feel, well, on your Q&A, you said that you highly recommend doing it for like 20 days or something.
Yes.
And that is so true, especially for first-time meditators, because you do see the difference. And then even if you don't keep it up every single day, it becomes a tool and you like know why it's useful and how to use it.
Again, talked about this in my Q&A, but like with yoga, I didn't really like get yoga when I did it sporadically, but when I committed to doing it every day for a month, I was like, oh, this is like a whole different thing with a whole different quality than I realized. Yes. And now, I can like take that with me and I don't do yoga every day right now, but yeah.
I do yoga practically every day. That is, I do stretches before I go to bed. Otherwise, I get restless legs and things.
Do you think that helps? With falling asleep?
Oh, for sure.
I cannot fall asleep lately.
As we all, the relentless passage of time into old age, I think we all got to be on top of our stretches, no matter where we are.
Hubes did an episode on stretching. I deliberately skipped it.
I don't want to hear how the things I know are good are definitely good.
I definitely stretch a few times a week, but I don't know. It feels like quite. I don't do that much.
I need to check in with Auntie Hubes. Because it is nice when you like hear the science of something. It is, for some reason, it becomes, you like prioritize doing it a little bit more. Like, he talked about the neuroscience of having a good view.
I fully believe that.
And it's like, we all know that having a good view is cool. You're up high and you see something and you're like, wow, that's awesome. Like, we all know that. But hearing the neuroscience of it, now when I go on a walk, I'm like, for just a little bit more brain chemicals, I'll go up, get a nice view, and it's totally nice. It makes a difference. So I'm like, thanks, Huberman Daddy.
That's why I pay more rent than I can afford, because I'm like, I will kill myself if I don't. And that's only partly a joke.
I think, was it Camus who said the basic question of philosophy is, should you kill yourself? Yeah. And I think in the past we had this, taboo on talking about suicide because everybody was like low-key on the verge of like, this isn't worth it. We're living in like an industrial hellhole. Like, and to talk about it could spread a contagion of like, I just don't want to fucking do this anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
And, people weren't processing their grief publicly like we and this generation are able to do now, where we're like, I'm coming out with depression. And then it's like, oh, everybody has like is. These are cycles that all human beings experience, largely exacerbated by our environment.
Isn't it funny now? Because I do feel like millennials were sort of the first generation to like embrace mental health. Mm-hmm. And it's funny seeing how like mental health conditions, it's not necessarily that they're trendy in that like being gay isn't trendy. It's more just like there's more awareness, but you can see like trends in the mental illnesses people have. Like when we were in college, it was like having depression or anxiety. That was like, it was huge, and people felt like they were such an outlier for that. And then I feel like it went into, I don't know, we've had like an ADHD era. We're in the autism era right now. It's just funny now seeing, or bipolar has been a big one, just sort of like trends in like the diagnoses people are getting. And
I want like a really, really rare disorder,
really
to
random,
just spread.
Yeah. Like, the little red thing that flies outside of car dealerships. It's like, I just see those in my mind all the time. It's got everywhere. A really specific name.
And you find out that there's like 12 other people who have that specific one. They see everybody as that.
You'll be happy to know that the Roses are like are really good right now, especially by the Vivid Stadium. Do you ever go there?
By the Vivint Stadium?
Yeah,
No.
the Delta Center.
But I got some good roses around me. I love Salt Lake, like East Bench,
Yeah.
culture roses. Like people in this valley were like, let's just plant roses everywhere.
And you can
I
just
really
smell
love
them.
it. Yeah. I walk around I come home and it looks like I've been like snorting some yellow something because my nose has just been in like so many flowers.
Yeah, me and Jared always do that. And sometimes there's like people in their house, but I'm like, you'd want people to smell your roses.
Mhm.
If I grew roses and I saw someone smelling them, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, right. I feel like a weirdo sometimes because I'll just like stop in front of people's houses and just like look at their yards.
Like,
and
what
be
else
like,
is a front garden for, you know?
Right? It's really inspired me. Sorry, let's tie this back and then I'll go into this. Should you kill yourself? I think
No.
everybody who takes life seriously can be in a fun, playful way, like has to kind of confront like what is a life that's worth living. And when you've had the meaning of life handed to you in this in the systems we're born to, they give us our meaning and tell us what we're supposed to do and how we fit in. And if you see through the facade of that and the limitations of that, and then you have to generate that meaning for yourself, I think everybody gets to a point where they're like, okay, like, is life worth living? And if so, what kind of life is worth living? And so curating and creating a life for yourself that you want to live, that you want to be excited about, becomes like,
which can be so hard when you're in the depths of depression. But I guess the conclusion I reached in my suicide era was, you're going to die anyway, so you might as well play it out. Just play it out. Don't cause any unnecessary suffering to the people that love you. Just see what happens. Like, death is guaranteed. Like, so why not, you know?
See what's going on. So,
International Rose Test Garden, that's in Portland, right? Because I love that place. Me and Jared have gone there twice. And we smelled the best smelling rose of 2021. Let me tell you, the best smelling rose of 2021, same scent as like the roses around here. I'm like, I think it's a bit of a scam, but some roses do smell better than others. Yeah,
it's true. The rose garden up at the university, Red Butte Gardens, I went there for the first time the other day. So magical. Went around sunset. Let's go spend a day there.
I would like that. Meet up.
Yeah. Live stream from the Red Butte Garden. That would actually be so cute. And we totally could. There's so many like little nooks in that place.
Too lazy to kill myself. Relatable.
What were we just about to talk about? We were talking about walking, roses, life design. I've been thinking about wanting to build a garden with some kind of art garden that could just be open to people, because I think that I'm like, I just want to sit in people's yards all the time. And if I had a beautiful garden, I'd want people to sit in it. But you can't just go squat in somebody's yard, even though they've got the rainbow flag and they're like,
in my opinion,
we accept queer people and weird people who just want to sit in our lawn. I'm like, prove it.
Don't you think everyone should be allowed to sit in anyone else's front garden?
Yes, I think that
garden, I'm like, fine. Everyone deserves a private, private.
But a front yard is a gift you give to the world.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you're gonna like sit in your garden, you're gonna sit in your back garden. I mean, you can also, people do sit on their porch and stuff, and that's lovely. But I just think generally, especially if the people that live there aren't sitting out, I'm like, you should be able to go and sit on someone's front lawn.
So I want to. Baby steps, but maybe start with like a little public bench with some flowers around it.
I love that. I love when people just, take pride in their front gardens, but also like do little things to make things nice for others. Like there's a garden I saw recently where they had put like a little bench there that was clearly like anyone could sit there, and they'd also like painted some electrical box with like flowers and stuff.
I know exactly the one you're talking about. I stopped there for a minute and I was like, oh, this is so cute.
It's nice. Anyway, Tanner's art sculpture garden all starts with you Venmoing us or super chatting us. You can super chat us, or you can send us a Venmo, and YouTube won't get any of the money. I've been saying we should start doing live streams called Ask Zelf, where we give you guys advice. And we're not guaranteeing it's good advice, but it will be advice. So if you want to kick that off in this live stream, that's something we can do. Just send us your super chat questions.
I don't know if it came across, but in the text where you pitched that idea to me, which I really like, A to Z, ask to zelf.
Between two zelfs. Yep. I put a sign on my front roses letting people cut them if they'd like to.
That is so
nice.
sweet.
That is
I actually would
lovely.
not even do that. That is a next level
Yeah.
generosity.
Yeah. I'm here for these hot front yard takes. We have a basketball hoop built onto the curb in our front yard, and I love when the neighborhood kids play ball.
That's great.
I'm like, it's nice when you like pour love into a space. It's nice to have people use it. Like, I love having people over and just having them enjoy the little space I've created.
I think like I'm trying to do better at facilitating community vibes. Like, I just, so much paranoia and fear is getting poured into us every single day by the most powerful algorithms ever concocted by humankind.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to deal with. But the thing is I really have faith in people and in our own collective goodness. And like, given any kind of disaster, like, I want to trust in the people around me and like foster the relationships with people who are nearby. My landlord is my like literal neighbor and we just had to meet up with him, and I planted some flowers in my yard and then cut the first harvest and gave it to him and was like, thanks for letting us stay in your house. It's very sweet. I sometimes the landlord discourse gets me a little discouraged because I'm like, the people who are really running the show and really profiting off of people's misery,
companies,
they would love to see us take out our class rage on small-time landlords. And that would be their dream.
I've said this before, but my dad is a small-time landlord. He has like 2 or 3 flats that he rents out. Have you disowned him? No, he's nice.
Cancelled.
He's a good landlord. I'm just kidding. He does all the stuff he's supposed to do. He's told me he doesn't like raising the rent, and he won't raise the rent in alignment with like the market because he feels bad doing that. And like people will advise him to raise the rent and he doesn't. So I'm like, it's not like all landlords are bastards. Come on.
No, that's exactly how I feel.
And like under a capitalist system, like my dad is like middle class, like through and through. He's not like rich, but like those are the kinds of people we want being landlords, right? And like, what else are you supposed to do? Like if you inherit money or like, I mean, it is just a smart use of money to have property. And if you're a good landlord, the thing that bothers me is just that like these management companies and shitty landlords, like being responsible for someone's home, I think is a sacred responsibility. Like people's homes are sacred. And I think anyone who does anything to make that feel like unstable or scary or just like generally shit for people just have no business being landlords. Like the management companies that just truly don't give a shit. I'm like, in my ideal world, like everyone who is like in charge of people's homes has their heart in the work in like a meaningful way, and they really want to foster community and say, you know, like that's really a way you can make the world a better place if you have, you know, landlord powers. But thank you, Rachel.
Well, that's how I feel. Love you. My landlord, he's like, it is the same thing. Like I'm getting such a smoking deal on the place I'm in now. Like if I left there, I could not afford to live in anything comparable. And I'm like, that's just like a Mormon guy who like just wants to be nice and like knows that we're taking care of the house and like cultivating the area because we want to live in a beautiful place, you know? And,
everyone wherever they live should try and beautify the area.
I 100% agree. Not even for the landlord's sake or for your own sake. I think it's a great, beautiful experience to cultivate a space. Can I just go do one more thing about landlords? My last landlord was so cool. He's like a true anarchist or socialist or whatever. Like he's like, I have money for a property, so I'm gonna get a property and let my friends live there as like cheaply as possible and be like totally democratic about it. Like it's just there's people doing it right. Thank you, Rachel. Sure appreciate you. And I love that little
Tessa, would love to hear you talk about Biden's one-time student debt payment. Really upset it's likely not going to happen in the Supreme Court. Let me just Google Biden student debt payment, Supreme Court. Sounds devastating.
Oh.
First one, women will suffer most if student loan forgiveness fails. So is the Supreme Court just, are they just vetoing him forgiving student loans? That's really depressing if so. Wait, really? It's actually getting... Oh, everyone was so excited about that.
Sorry, we only do that for...
corporations and billionaires. Yeah.
It is just insane how the majority of people have been tricked into continually voting against their interests and supporting people who have actual contempt for them. It's so sad. We could be having we could have so many nice things. Like we always talk about this, the comfort of like living in a country that you trust has your back in a medical emergency.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to like life isn't going to be totally upended if you have some kind of emergency. A medical emergency at this point in my life would break me. Of course, I'd have to lean on you guys. Like that's what all this is just a healthcare. This is our healthcare plan. That's tough. And like it's not everybody who has like a supportive community or whatever who can do that. It's really insane.
On that note, if you want to send us super chats, you can do so via super chat or via Venmo if you're just joining. There's not that many people on the stream, so I don't think that many people have just joined. But I hate how people act like Trump is such a man of the people or whatever, like he understands the middle class. I mean, yeah.
I can't wrap my head around. He's such a cartoon buffoon.
Yeah.
It's like reading like somebody out of a comic book, like that level of villain where you're just like, oh, this person has no depth whatsoever, just full send ego all the time. Like I saw this clip of him where he's like, oh yeah, I did nothing wrong. Oh, they said I had the documents. I didn't have the documents. I had a stack of documents, and you can hear the paper. I didn't hear it, but I could hear it. And it's all fake news, including Fox. Everybody's fake news except for, like, literally everyone's fake news except for me. Where you're just like, you are a child, a literal child. How?
I mean, I know we all know this, but the how is just that working class people were forgotten. Well, middle class people as well. Like a lot of people in America, other than the fact that, Trump's rich donors are all profiting off the fact that he's giving tax breaks to billionaires, and that's like how he's running his campaign. But like people are voting for him because they're disenfranchised and they feel left behind, and politicians do suck.
Yep. And they know the best way is to. I mean, Trump literally said during a rally recently, he was like, I never get this kind of support when I talk about lowering taxes, but when I talk about the trans issue, everybody goes nuts. And it's like, yeah, totally. He knows that by stoking people's antagonism against the scapegoat group, like governments and religions have been doing for thousands of years. Like it's the oldest trick in the book. You can get people riled up by giving them a status enemy rather than seeing you as the status enemy. Yeah,
the status game, which I haven't stopped rocking on about, talks about how it's really because status is so critical for Homo sapiens. When we feel our status being diminished or we have low status, we will always find people of lower status to feel superior than, as sort of like a band-aid. And I mean, that's something Trump's been able to do, right? Is make people feel like they have a bit more status because they know the truth, or, they're like morally superior to the corrupt politicians, even though he's obviously playing the exact same game. But he is giving people Trump is giving people a sense of community and
true spirituality. Definitely plays into the like Messiah complex that people project onto him. I am the chosen one. There is no perfect country, but I'm happy moving abroad to Spain. Oh, I hear Spain is just delightful. I was actually looking up apartments in Spain and Portugal, and I speak Portuguese and feel like Portuguese is hard to understand, admittedly, but I feel like I could make the switch.
Yeah, you'd be able
and
to.
I really, really want to experience it, but everything is so expensive.
Well, it's also really hard to get a working visa. You could potentially apply for a talent visa, but like you'd have to make a case for why you need to work in Spain. I mean, I guess you could just say you're doing a project, and you'd have to be doing a project in Spain.
Little project I call life.
I don't think Americans always realize how hard it is to move to Europe. It's actually easier to move to America. In a weird
1
way.
hour of Googling showed me that it's hard to move to
Europe. Tana has visited the UK with me once.
Yeah.
Did you say we were going to look through Jordan Peterson's Twitter today? Okay, let's do a little vote. We had a few ideas for this live stream. Either we're going to dive into Jordan Peterson's Twitter because we have no self-love, or we're going to check in with Mormon Reddit, or we can check in with Christian Reddit.
Or we can just keep shooting the shit.
I'm setting a 1-minute timer on my phone. Everyone tell us what you would prefer, and then we'll just do whatever we get the most votes for at the end of that.
Of course, super chats.
Super chats will be counted as 3 votes.
Sure, at least take a little vote and take a little peep into whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Well, we got 1 vote for Reddit, so I guess
Mormon or Christian? I'd like to check in with Mormon Reddit. I like to keep tabs on them.
See what the flavor is.
Mm.
Flavor de jour. A little of each. I see AI taking over 70% of jobs in the next 15 to 20 years, assuming we don't die or live in a dystopia. What do you think will be the key to living happily with all our free time? I think creative expansion, community. It sucks because maybe it's just human nature and like oppressive, violent structures will always exist among us. And there's just no getting out of that until maybe the robots really do take over, or we fully integrate into smarter robots or something.
That's what the status game highlighted, is we can't do away with the fact that humans are status-seeking creatures. There'll always be some degree of that.
Well, you know, like Star Trek is a really interesting kind of idea about how a post-scarcity society look, a transplanetary species could look like. And even they have to like invest in weapons and defenses because you just don't know what's out there. And so like maybe there's something about needing like defensive strategies or a military. It sucks, but like maybe. But how do we have lives that are where we're not experiencing collectively, globally, like violence against our own kind due to these structures? And with robots being able to, or AI being able to do practically any human endeavor, I like universal basic income feels so possible in our lifetimes, especially as the older generations die out and millennials and Gen Z kind of take over, because that would be so nice. And I think people being able to pursue their creative passions will be just such a net positive for literally everybody. I think we could also
and isn't
see
the whole like thing for the whole thing people justify capitalism with is that it encourages innovation. I'm like, well, guess what would encourage innovation? Universal basic income.
Yeah, security will increase all kinds of creativity and innovation. I think we'll see a greater value in human-made things, handmade items. Because anyone can have an AI paint something beautiful, but still very few humans can do an impressive piece of art, or like a human performance of a song, for instance, as opposed to, I think like human communities are going to become closer.
Like more organic experiences. Yeah, I mean, Jared is a seamstress and he has fancy machines, but he likes doing hand stitching for certain stuff because for some reason that just feels like a more, I don't know, pure pursuit or enjoyable, fun pursuit for him.
And when it's not out of a necessity to hustle, grind, mass produce as much as you can. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to feed yourself or keep a roof over your head.
Look how wonky that is.
Yeah, it's a little wonky.
Bugging me. But is it just the fact that my painting is hung wonky? No, Jared did the leveler. It's
this, yeah. Nice.
Someone said the key to happiness is bird watching, and I kind of agree with that. Maybe expanding to just, I mean, what scares me about AI increasing and like the fucking Apple goggles and all that stuff is just,
that was a really dystopian commercial.
Just getting away from like our biological reality and our connection to nature, which we've already done way too much. My husband loves Jared, calls him Meta Junior. Amen to the bird watching. Yeah, we got a couple of bird watchers in the chat.
I love bird watchers and bird watching.
All right, should we check in with Mormon Reddit?
Were you just saying
did I have a point?
I thought so.
Just the loss of, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the I'm not like against progress or technological advancement or anything, but I just feel like the key to if our goal is for humans to be like the happiest and healthiest, then I don't think it's just like marching forward with technology. And I just think it's getting back to the basics of like in-person community, connection to nature, all that shit.
I agree. And in fact, a lot of futuristic imagery that we've just kind of accepted, I think we inherited from like the 50s, and everything is so like metallic. And I'm like, I don't see the future as being like hyper metallic and hyper plastic in the way that it's portrayed to us. I think like an integration of organic systems and a greater understanding of organic systems and how nature works and balances itself out will naturally land itself to like, and there are cool, did you watch the Abstract series on Netflix? Phenomenal series. Everyone watch it on Netflix. each episode is about an innovator in some industry, whether it's fashion design, architecture, stage setting, all these cool things, science, and a lot of the focus is on people who are paying attention to the natural structures and relationships and patterns of natures and integrating that into like really revolutionary approaches to their industries. And so it's kind of like technology meets organic structures and really, really inspiring stuff. Anyway, that's kind of where I hope to see things going, because exactly like you said, like we're getting so I mean, I was on a walk yesterday and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, I should probably put my phone away, at least for my walk. Okay, put that away. I'm like, but what song do I want to listen to? I'm like, maybe the best thing I could do is not even have music. Like I probably need to hear the birds. Yeah.
They are nice. And they do, there's just so many things in nature that we evolved to have calm our nervous systems. Joe said automation will be the emancipation of the working class. And that's my hope. But it's like, that's what they said about a lot of technology that we now have. And all that's happened is that we've just found new ways to exploit the working class. The rich have got richer. And thank you, Rachel. That is a generous super chat. We are glad that you're here. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for helping the poor get richer.
Yeah. The reason we started doing these live streams is like, all right, we got to become financially somewhat stable with this channel. And the streams are a good way to do that. And it's
otherwise
nice
our creative energy is going to have to rot at some corporation.
Please don't make us become corporate copywriters again.
I'll never go back.
Let's check in with Mormon Reddit. I'm dying to.
Okay, I'll say one more thing while you're looking at Mormon Reddit, and that is that I just saw a study that was talking about how since the 40s, people working so much for a certain amount, and now people are working even more for that amount, because the output has been increased. People just expect people to double their output or quadruple their output or whatever. So, and I think we're probably seeing that with like AI enhanced writing jobs, where it's like, oh, now AI can do a lot of your tasks. So that means you have to do 5 times more than you were before, because AI can help you.
And I know
I hope the narcissists don't win.
It's an obvious point, and I know this is why we're not billionaires, but I just cannot imagine being Jeff Bezos and not being like, wow, I have an amazing opportunity to create an incredible work life for people. Like, if I just sacrifice a small amount of my wealth that I'm never going to use or need, like, I could make this world such a best place. So I used to work at Pluralsight, which is a tech company in Utah. And when I first started working there, they kind of had more of a startup vibe. They did have like 2,000 people working there, but they were just on the cusp of going public. And so I really did feel like a big value that they had was having, and it was obviously all in the pursuit of having the best employees. And it's ultimately still profit motivated, but they really cared about creating like a great workspace for people and kind of, being able to provide 2,000 jobs that are good, where you have great benefits and like the work environment is nice and they're sensitive of mental health issues, like things like that really do change the world. But then it's just like with every single company, no matter how good they start out, it's like the more successful they became, the more demand there was from shareholders or whatever to increase profits. And then the more that value goes down. And so
it feels like the life cycle of every
just like our what's the word for the fact that we always have to increase in profit? But
unlimited growth models. Or
whatever. The unlimited growth model just like fucks everyone over.
Yes. And
it's just, again, to me, I'm like, if I had a company that was employing 2,000 people in a way that was like really good, like really providing them with good jobs that don't kill them and that give them like good time with their families and all that stuff. Like, can't that be enough? You know what I mean? Like changing the lives of 2,000, but it's never enough. It's always just like up more. And I hate status. That. Yeah. So send us Venmos, please. All right. Mormon Reddit. Okay. I'm on RLDS, which has 24,000 members. God, are people still rebutting the letter from my wife? I feel like that was like a CES letter adjacent project, but totally. It's interesting how many people will feel the need to debunk that stuff. All right, first of all,
I get it. They see it as like a serious challenge to faith. Like it's definitely been effective. People are deconverting because of it.
So we've got a meme that says, You can't really see it. Jesus championed women. He gets us. And then the header is, oh wait, hang on. This is a promoted post. I don't think that counts.
When only the woman was guilted for adultery, he said, maybe we shouldn't throw rocks at her till she's dead.
There's a link to an article by Deseret that says the number of Latter-day Saint missionaries is rising rapidly, and convert baptisms are also. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. There's surely
This
no
feels
way.
very North Korean.
All right, now I am unfortunately on the Deseret News, and it says the number of missionaries representing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has increased significantly over the past year, with numbers expected to top 72,000 by the end of 2023. I think it was already in the 70,000s.
Furthermore, people are deconverting at a slower rate than ever before. We're growing at unprecedented rates. The work has never been stronger. Just keep praying and obeying.
Apparently, Elder Cook said convert baptisms are up 25% in the first quarter of 2023 compared to last year. Stone cold bummer, but I wonder what is behind that. So apparently they had, at the end of 2021, they had 56,000 missionaries. I feel like this is just them having an increase because of COVID stuff. Like 2021, end of 2021 would have been still heavily influenced by COVID, and a lot of people would probably just put off missions because of that.
Totally.
Anyway, so now it's at 68,000 right now. So like, cool. It says the influx of missionary applications led to a need for more members of the Quorum of the 12 to make mission assignments. Typically 2 apostles assign mission calls weekly, but in recent months, as many as 4 have been making up to 300 calls a week.
That just sounds like they've been bored.
Okay, they are reaching.
It's like when cops need to pull somebody over, and then soon enough, there's like 10 cops all standing around together, and you're like, oh, you're little buddies.
Much of this runs counter to the popular narrative that young people are less religious today. I think that's data, not just narrative. Yet new data tracking attitudes across generations shows an uptick in religiosity among the religious members of the millennial and Gen Z generations compared to baby boomers and Gen X.
Excuse me?
I don't know about that. And also,
new data tracking attitudes?
Tell us more. And also,
shows an uptick. What do you mean your attitude shows an uptick in religiosity?
And what counts as religiosity? Because people certainly aren't in Mormonism more.
If you mean like more people are getting up in arms over their bigotry, then yeah, maybe religious institutions, political religious institutions have been very ornery these days, whipping up people's paranoia and frustration.
This says overall religiosity is down among all Americans over the past few decades, and yet compared with earlier generations, there are signs that young people are even more committed to their faith. The University of Michigan's Monitoring the Futures database tracks attitudes across generations, with high school seniors asked the same questions each year. It's a major reference point for youth researchers in America. When asked about the importance of religion in their lives and how frequently they attend worship services, there are meaningful differences in responses between generations. This says that even with Latter-day Saints, attitudes among millennials and Gen Z are on par with or actually more favorable to religion than some earlier generations. This cannot... data's a minefield, you know?
I wish I had that Mark Twain quote
in
on statistics.
Comparing the generations when they were high school seniors, millennial Latter-day Saint youth feel religion is more important than all other generations. I mean, maybe because everyone's leaving, so it's being drilled into their heads more aggressively.
Oh, yeah. They're the new Saturday's Warrior, Saturday.0. Speaking of videos that I've been editing for like 20 hours
Speaking
straight.
of reasons that you should send us donations, Tanner has been working like a maniac on our Saturday's Warrior video, which we'll probably earn less than minimum wage for, but I think it's going to be worth it because the jokes, the experience... There are 3 kinds of lies: damned lies, and statistics.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ray. So basically this article is just trying to imply that young Mormons are more Mormon than ever before, which I'm calling BS on. Apparently, a General Authority 70 and executive director of the church's missionary department said, "There's just something going on, and I don't know how to explain it, other than the prophet spoke in April 2022. And this rising generation that he teaches us was held in reserve are responding. This new manual, Preach My Gospel, 2nd edition, is attuned to this generation.
So there's a logical fallacy called post hoc ergo propter hoc. First this, then this. It's like a false causality. Oh, I observed one thing happening. I crossed my eyes this morning, and then later I got in a car accident. Therefore, the crossing of my eyes caused the car accident. This is a case of post hoc ergo prophet hoc. If the prophet spoke, then that caused everything.
I love when you talk fallacies. Next post on Mormon Reddit. The church does have a current stance on masturbation, all caps. And then it just has a link.
Oh, I hear some
the
words
general
are
handbook.
like have been easing up on that.
I bet they have, because it's impossible. Wait, does anyone know what's in the new Preach My Gospel? Like, what is meaningfully different? Because I'd be down to do a video on that. But how do we? Tanner deserves more for making a Latin pun. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's classic Tanner.
At least $10. I don't know if I could do Preach My Gospel. I've dedicated too much of my life to looking at it. Whew. I still once in a while will get like seething anger about my mission. I just really, it's a traumatic experience to like be coerced into something, not even knowing that you're being coerced into it, and having like the energy of your youth just like totally sapped and in every way manipulated and capitalized on by a $1 billion organization that literally doesn't care. Anyway.
Venmo's in our description box. The cover isn't sepia anymore.
Well,
the modern era of missionary work.
The work rolls forward. We're seeing miracles every day.
Tanner, we just got a Venmo donation specifically for your lesson fun.
Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
You're too good for us. Ellen gave me binoculars for my birthday.
That is very sweet.
And I think, yeah, I know. And it's also chilling that just like anyone can own binoculars, and they're like really good.
Anyone can own, but only the military should have binoculars.
Well, like,
assault rifles and binoculars.
Well, it's just crazy, like how much spying you can do. Anyway, on
birds, you're just like, oh yes.
Not just
all bird
birds,
watchers
Tanner.
are perverts.
Birds. Okay. This is a post on the LDS subreddit. I don't know what it says, so we're just going into this together. Hey everyone, I'm going through a pretty hard time and I need advice.
I was going to say we should also plug Ellen's photography, because Ellen for my birthday gave me a picture of 2 crows that is one of my absolute favorites of hers.
I have 2 Ellen Moffat pictures in my house, an otter swimming.
Oh, that's so cute.
And yeah, what's Ellen's Instagram? Ellen, drop your Instagram in the chat. Okay, this is the thing the Mormon needs advice on. My girlfriend and I have had an almost perfect relationship. We've been dating for almost a year and we get along amazingly. Our families both love both of us like children, and we would be married right now, but she's about to leave on a mission. The mission is something we both have really wanted her to go on, but in the last few months, we've made some seriously bad decisions with the law of chastity. She leaves in around 3 weeks. We decided to tell her parents and dad, who is the bishop. As you might expect, both of our families are very disappointed in us, especially her family, rightfully so. My question is just the extent to which Mormon parents know about their kids' sexual activity makes me so uncomfortable, even when they're grown adults who are like out of the house. My question is just, what should I do and can I do in this situation? We aren't going to end our relationship and still love each other very deeply, but I really don't want to have to see her parents or be around their family. I feel so guilty about it. I normally go to church with them before I go to my ward and then spend the whole day with them. I don't know what to do and what the right decisions are. If you guys could give me any advice, I'd appreciate it deeply. Thank you all. Leave the church. Leave the shame-based culture. That's so sad. They probably didn't even have sex.
Mm-hmm.
The first comment is, I've never written anything on the internet before, but your comment touched me, and I just want to say this.
I've never written anything on the internet before.
This is the first thing that has inspired this person
to write on the internet of our Lord.
I am so grateful to you I am so grateful
that is a good
to you
entry.
And your girlfriend for having the faith to confess and begin the repentance process. Repentance can and should be joyful. Okay, tell that to Spencer W. Kimball. He was not advocating for a joy-focused repentance process.
You think Mark E. Peterson ever experienced joy? I doubt it.
Thank you to Weston for the super chat.
Woo, Weston!
Do you know about Weston? Weston is cool.
The church now allows tattoos and masturbation. Boyd K. Packer is rolling in his grave.
Rolling.
I unfortunately saved a quote of Boyd K. Packer on my desktop about gay people, and it's without even thinking, but I keep seeing it now as Gay Packer, and it's just...
Lily, thank you also for the Venmo. You are also awesome, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who's supporting us. I talked in my Q&A the other day about how one of the worst things about being an ex-woman content creator is the fact that you have to ask people for money all the time, because you just like, there's no sustainability if you don't. And like, people drop off every month. And like, for some reason, when Mormon Stories does it, it doesn't feel, because there's like more of an official sheen, and I guess they're a nonprofit. It doesn't feel that bad, but it just like, why does it feel so bad when we have to do it?
And I mean, it feels so bad for me that I mostly let you do it.
I know.
So thank you for always doing that.
Shout out to my dental problems for inspiring me to keep asking. Because, anyway, this person who's never written a comment on the internet before goes on. I
love that collective cultural sexual shaming has brought this person.
So repentance can and should be joyful. That doesn't mean, but really, what is repentance in the Mormon church other than kind of just like feeling bad?
It's literally just feeling bad.
Yeah.
And then not doing it again.
Because nobody wants to do it again. Everyone, also, it's like change your ways, but it's like nobody wanted to do it to begin with. It's just that you're trying to essentially defy human nature. So that doesn't mean there won't be difficult emotions as you work through the process. There should be. This can mean needing space and time away from certain people or situations. Just be open and honest about such things. I would also say that repentance is an individual thing. We must each work out our own salvation before the Lord. And so I would encourage you to find time and space to deal with your repentance process on your own, even as you go on this journey with your girlfriend. That will include spending time with your bishop and not just her father. I can attest that repentance is a process, it is a blessing, and yes, it is joyful. Drop your favorite joyful repentance process in the comments. What did you do? How fun was it? The time can help you and your girlfriend build a wonderful foundation for a lifetime of gospel living. Well, everyone's basically just saying good for you. Yeah. Nothing really groundbreaking there.
I think I'm just going to cleanse the palate with a Mary Oliver poem.
Oh, yes.
Y'all know this one. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
You're about to cry.
I am. Mary Oliver's so good. Oh.
My joyful repentance process mostly consisted of crying myself to sleep because I touched myself. Yeah. That sounds about right. Also, thank you to Amelia for the super chat.
Oh, Amelia.
For the 2 super chats in a row.
Is that a mistake or just sheer kindness?
I think sheer kindness. The first one just says stream. I wish you didn't have to ask so much, but you both do a lot. No shout out needed. Sorry. You've got one. Shout out Amelia. Oh, and thank you to Ivana. Is that how you say that? Liquid support. That's like what my mum would say. Also, it's 11:11.
Oh.
I don't think I believe in like numerology or anything, but I've been seeing like repeating numbers a lot lately every time I look at clocks. I'm like, what's going on? And I always just like make a little wish just in case.
I love when I do that, when I'm like, what are the chances that me, someone who looks at their phone all day, would keep seeing 3:33?
Hi, AFAB eunuch. Watching one of your videos about eunuchs. I'm surprised to see someone talking about it.
Actually, after having watched that multiple times because it was something that was brought up by my father, and I'm like, worried about how we came across and all that, and if we adequately, blah, 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 blah. I have thought about eunuchs and been like, we really didn't address the fact that I'm a straight up eunuch. I've totally been vasectomized.
Is that what it means to be a eunuch, though?
I think in probably a modern context.
But I think probably back then it meant
it was like fully castrated.
Yeah, it's like a Bernie and Banksy situation.
But I'm not able to have progeny. So, yeah, eunuch for the kingdom's sake.
I'll give you $10 if Tanner asks us for money as practice. Can't make Sam do it all the time.
Okay.
Be sincere though, Tanner. We need a lot of
next time I'll bring my little orphan Tanny cap.
Do you want him to do it in any specific accent?
You want a cartwheel? Do you want a shirt off? What?
I think just start out earnest and then, you can diversify from there.
Hello, shareholders. We thank you so much for your continued support of this channel. Without generous donations from viewers like you, we would be forced to either shell out to some godless corporation or start an OnlyFans. And frankly, I don't have the work ethic for that one. So would you please send us money? Please, it make us so happy.
We have never done anything wrong ever, and we deserve your money.
Thanks. How's that?
How was it, Ray?
Did I look pathetic enough? This is taking me back to middle school.
When you didn't get lunch and you had to beg?
Yeah.
No, you didn't beg. You scammed. There's a difference.
Scammed or, soft scam. So, I would take...
Grift.
I would take crackers to school, saltine crackers, and I'd be like, I bet you $1 you can't eat 6 of these in a minute. And then everyone would be like, of course I can eat 6 in a minute. And then they couldn't. And then they gave me $1. And then after I had like $5, I had lunch. So
you could have just eaten the crackers for lunch. Thank you. How do you pronounce that name?
I don't know. Kaj?
Well, thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Oh, I'm a death doula, and Mary Oliver is so dear to me. I'm very curious about death doula work.
Yeah, me too. That's like some Ramdasi stuff.
If
anyone wants just like a beautiful dose of inspiration, Krista Tippett's On Being podcast, her interview with Mary Oliver. Oh.
Wait, is Mary Oliver?
I think she's dead now.
When did she die? Recently enough that she's done a podcast?
Yeah. I mean, she was probably like 85 or something.
Can you just type that in and I'll...
Yes. Also, another Krista Tippett's interview that is so beautiful with a now deceased person is the one with John... Let me think about it. John...
We can put it on our Instagram story after if you want.
Okay.
By the way, it's pronounced Ivana. Cool. That's a pretty name.
Just typed in On Tippets.
My first of your videos, and now I'm in live.
Welcome to In Live.
No, that's like I get my surgery July 7th. Oh, I think they are talking about vasectomy.
Oh, nice.
We're going to make a little comedy short after this about vasectomy.
Oh, we just got a donation. You guys are being so nice today.
Nothing to find. Thank you so much. How do you do the little... Everyone does the cool animations with their super chats. I've never figured out how to do those. Oh, and also it's like Cage, that name. If you're wondering. Zelf is my local PBS station.
Aww.
Ooh, a weird Mormon story behind the name Ivana. Tell us more, please.
Oh, the title of the interview with Mary Oliver is I Got Saved by the Beauty of the World.
Fuck off, Mary Oliver. We know, okay?
Sorry, we don't all love grasshoppers and geese. After my partner Ash and I had read that poem, and then we went on a walk in the cemetery and got chased down by a wild goose. I've told this story on a live stream. And we were like, that Mary Oliver is full of shit. Wild geese suck.
Well, she did say in that wild geese are both terrifying. Are you going to the bathroom and leaving me alone with the live stream?
Totally.
You're kind of making moves like you're about to.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my God.
There was a donation on Venmo.
Please keep sending super chats so I have something to do while Tanner's gone. No, I'm unafraid. I'm willing to sit in the discomfort of anything. Okay, thank you to Alicia. I love the name Alicia, fun fact, who said, thanks for brightening a pretty basic Thursday. Okay, this is kind of creeping me out. One of my hate watches, it's not really a hate watch because I like the girls, but there's this lifestyle vlogger I watch on YouTube called Alicia Marie, who offers nothing of substance. She just talks about like fashion and how rich she is. But she has a podcast called Pretty Basic that I also listen to. And I just think it's interesting. Their name is Alicia, which I never hear. And you said, thanks for brightening a pretty basic Thursday. Anyway, I'm not looking forward to getting Saturday's Warrior song stuck in my head, but I can't wait for all the jokes. Yeah, Tanner has been complaining about having Saturday's Warrior stuck in his head for days. Also, he said his brain is just entirely Saturday's Warrior right now. Thankfully, it was my first time watching it, so I don't know any of the songs well enough to get them stuck in my head, which is a huge blessing, and that's why I can never watch Saturday's Warrior ever again. Ray, you're too kind to us. Thank you so much. You really are. I hope that whoever you work for pays you handsomely, because you are very generous to us, and I think at this point you're the closest thing we have to a boss. So, that's just something to think about. Sam, I really admire how well-spoken you are and how clearly you communicate your thoughts and ideas, goals. Okay, here's the thing, you guys. I do think part of it is just being British, like, creates a bit of an illusion. I've had people tell me that, and I can also see it myself. Because I think I'm not that well-spoken. There are times where I communicate ideas well and I'm articulate, but I'm also like, I use a million verbal fillers every sentence, and I don't know, I feel like I swing wildly between like total bimbo with nothing of substance to say. Do you have a little ditty that you're about to do?
No,
What's happening? Tanner's leaping around.
I just thought it'd be funny if I was coming in and out of the sides.
Yeah. Show us what you got. Well, thanks for... Oh my God, have you seen the Colleen Ballinger apology thing? I have seen it. Okay, do you want the haps?
I guess it seems like I need to.
I'm so glad someone just happened to ask about that, because I watched a whole video roasting it this morning. Colleen Ballinger, do you know Miranda Sings?
Yes.
So she's been on YouTube. She's like an OG YouTuber. She's been on YouTube for like the whole time YouTube has existed.
Yeah, she's
a big deal. And she's stayed on YouTube the entire time. Now she's like a mom and she vlogs. Anyway, it came out a few years, I don't know when it came out, but it basically came out that like about, I want to say like 5 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but like a while ago. Let's just say 5 years ago. She used to like, basically she would like DM with her fans and have like group messages with her fans. But like a lot of her fans are kids. Mm. And she, in these group messages, would basically say just like inappropriate things, like ask them if they're virgins, or just like make like weird comments that like, someone in a position of power on YouTube shouldn't make to minors. Oh, and also it's just kind of weird for YouTubers to be in like a group chat with their child fans anyway. That's already a bit sketch. Anyway, so I don't like think she was a groomer, but it was definitely like inappropriate behavior and it was weird. And she was in her 30s when it happened. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't, she wasn't like, I don't know, even early 20s, you're still an adult and they're still a minor. But I'm just saying, like, in your 30s, you kind of should know better, Anyway, she put out an apology video. There's not an apology video at all. It's just basically her on the ukulele being so cringe, like what in the millennial?
That sounds like a stand-up comedy.
Basically, and the song is called like the Toxic Gossip Train, and it's basically her saying her excuse, which like I feel like this excuse like is valid, but she should never have done this apology video like this or presented this excuse. But like she basically said, I wasn't a groomer, or I didn't do anything like wrong per se. I was just being like a weird aunt, like the weird aunt that asks you if you're dating anyone. But I'm like, but that, I get what you're saying. And I do believe that it came from like the kind of mindset of like a weird aunt, but like, don't ask kids who are your fans if they're virgins. And also she like sent lingerie to one of her like kid fans as like a joke. Like it wasn't, again, I don't think she is like a groomer, but it just wasn't good. Yeah. And then her apology video, I'll just actually pull it up and we can just watch like a few seconds of it. But she just did like a ukulele non-apology apology video.
This is Miranda?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just showing Tanner because he needs to know. Oh my God, her brother is a high-key pedo? The plot fucking thickens.
High-key?
What does high-key mean?
Like in prison or?
It's been a while since I saw my face. I haven't been doing so great, so I took a little break.
Can I just say, this style of ukulele music should never be happening after 2011.
No.
Some things about me that aren't quite true.
She
It's
also
2011, so I'm.
she also talks throughout the video about how like people are saying stuff that's not true, but it's like there are like screenshots of all of it, so it's not really lies. Like I guess I don't think she's a groomer. Like I guess that part is sort of that's an interpretation, but
It doesn't matter if it's true though. Just as long as it's entertaining to me.
just like no apology, just basically being like I did nothing wrong, and all you guys, I'm a victim of all you guys. Anyway, I'm glad I got to talk about that after having watched a video this morning.
A ukulele stand-up.
Yeah, it's not right. The ukulele alone she should be cancelled for.
Catch me after I get canceled with my banjo. Self did nothing wrong. We spent our donations on lobster and champagne in the Mediterranean, but we told you that up front so you knew what you were getting into.
Okay, I'm so glad other people, Western also knew about the Killian Ballinger video. It is kind of iconic that she did that. Yeah, I watched this girl doing like a reaction and she was like harmonizing with her and just like so stupid.
Does she transition into Imagine? Because that would be really special.
Fun fact about Daddy Ray, Boss Ray, he works at the Air Force Base.
Oh, nice. Was that you flying above my yard the other day? These like military planes flew so I didn't realize how loud those jets are.
Just sent a fan underwear as a joke. Too much for me. Yeah. I think that's too far. I think if they're adults and they've consented to receiving it.
Did she know that she was sending it to minors?
I think so.
I don't know the age
of
anybody on this list.
There's a clip of her in a video being like she like basically shows in the video that she knew they were minors because she was like, their parents are going to be like, who's this random lady on YouTube sending you lingerie? But, yeah. Again, I don't think she's like a... I don't think
she wasn't trying to get something.
But I'm like, if you are sexually inappropriate with minors, you need to, and you are a YouTuber, especially like such a big YouTuber, you just need to come on and be like, that was inappropriate. I'm not a pedophile, but I totally see where this was inappropriate. You know,
Totally.
But to do like the ukulele thing and be like, I'm such a victim. Oof. F-22s this week, they can be very loud. I've been reading Prince Harry's book, and I'm learning a lot about military stuff. Also, it's really good. I heard people say that it was cringe, but I don't think it's cringe. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, he's a eunuch too, isn't he?
No, the stuff about his penis was just because he got frostbite when he was in the North Pole trying to raise money for something.
He got frostbite on the peen.
Yeah. He said it felt like he was
frost-tipped.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Really?
Yeah. And he said it felt like he was having sex all the time, but like sex was out of the question.
Well, time to go get frost-tipped.
No, not so just plugging in the
I do want to get my tips frosted.
You would be awesome with frosted tips.
Yeah. Anyone want to do it for free?
Why not you?
Yeah. Anyone want to frost my tips?
Anyone want to give me frosted tips for free, aka highlights, which cost hundreds of dollars?
Songs of Sears, oof.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm directly under one. Oof. Justin Timberlake. Someone asked
His
if
Todger.
I'm making music, and I am working on an album. Sam sings on it.
We're both I'm like back in the music game as of like 2 days ago. I don't know what's shifted. Actually, I do. It's because Maisie Peters' new album, The Good Witch, is inspiring me.
Also, I feel like, there's some people who it's like music is their thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all they do. I find that it's definitely a season for me. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
I
have times of like gathering.
Yes.
And times of.
Yeah. If I for me, things being seasonal means, 9 months of the year where I'm like, you're the fucking worst. You could never do this. Don't be so ridiculous. And then like 3 days where I'm like, let's go. This is the best. This is what I'm meant to do.
What I'm trying to do now is not letting myself get obsessive about all my creative interests.
Yeah, kill your darlings.
Yeah, and like if I'm like working on a song, I'll do it from the moment I open my eyes till like 4 a.m. And I won't eat and I won't, go on a walk. But I've been like slowly trying to be like, it's okay. I don't have to just go.
I'm like, if
I did skip the gym to get on this live stream, but
make it worth his time. Venmo in the description box or super chat us, but Venmo won't take a percentage of your money.
That's true.
Yeah, I need a song I write to be good in 10 minutes or I'm giving up, which is not good.
My problem is I have songs, but then insist on like orchestrating them, and I'm not really fast at that or exceptionally good at it. It's been a learning process, so it just takes forever.
Also, people have been asking about Saturday's Warrior, except Ivana keeps calling it Saturday's Voyeur.
Oh, there's
another version that we need to watch with Alex Boye
from 2016,
Speaking
the
of,
most
like,
cursed year of my
millennial
lifetime.
cringe. Yeah. Like that has, I think Alex Boye just as a person has the energy of Colleen Ballinger doing the ukulele apology video.
And then guess who else is in it? Governor Cox plays a hippie guitarist.
A hippie!
And he's the first credited
He's
person
culturally
on it.
appropriating us.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have Saturdays, I almost said Voyeur, because there is an ongoing event in Salt Lake called Saturday's Voyeur, a comedy show, which we should go to sometime.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
But it's so seeped into my brain. It's terrible. But yeah, we need to watch the 2016 one because it sounds like an absolute train wreck. Because, we're watching this and we're like, wow, this is so silly. No one would believe this today. Watch them do it with like even worse in 2016.
I know. I'm like curious how they're going to sort of update the narrative of will the siblings have sexual tension in the new version, or will they have realized that that's a bit sus?
TBD.
So excited to find out. We were on the Mormon subreddit. Also, I've just had one busy, but on an empty stomach makes you think.
Well, I like the pun no matter what.
Yeah, I know. It worked out well. So we will keep this live stream going for as long as you guys send us financial support. I got nothing on this afternoon. We're supposed to be making a pitch deck so we can start getting brand deals. But you know what's better than a brand deal? Not having to do the brand deals.
These live streams are like, a sort of intellectual, emotional strip club. We come, we do our little dance, tell our little jokes, be emotionally vulnerable, and people throw dollars at us, and then we stop when the dollars stop getting thrown at us.
It's not a real live stream until Samantha says makes you think. Why do I always say that?
Because a lot of things make you think.
They do. And yes,
Makes
I'm
you
so
think.
stupid. All right. This person's post on the LDS subreddit.
Oh,
Gathering data on why people don't study the scriptures regularly. I can tell you right now because they're fucking boring.
Half of Mormon...
Too many coins, too many wars.
Half of Mormon discourse would disappear if they were like, we're eliminating all like tiny little ways to judge our righteous status against other members. Like, isn't that every single post is like, people have been wearing a lot of pants. Women have been wearing pants to church lately, and Polynesians are wearing skirts to church. They should conform to what? It's like all okay. You're doing like Pharisee shit.
Should we fill out the survey? This person's created a survey
let's go.
to try and understand the challenges people face. All right, I'm in. Let's go.
Boring.
What was the
immoral.
source that led you to this survey? Reddit. What is your age range? 27 to 35. What is your gender? I'll say female. What is your highest level of education? Bachelor's degree. What is your marital status? Divorced. They're going to be like, well, that's why you're not reading the scripture.
Yeah. You wouldn't have divorced if you were reading your scriptures.
Should I maybe just put single then?
I mean, I just think you should say divorce. Let's be honest with your dad.
Do you have children? No, I do not have children. Do you work outside the home? I wouldn't say so. I'm going to say part-time employment.
Wow, Ray is putting me on full blast in the comments.
Where?
The number of people who read an interesting book every day is already slim.
Not me. I'm in my reading phase right now.
I'm reading Stephanie.
I actually seriously do notice that like my life is so much worse when I don't have a book I'm currently excited about reading. Like this Prince Harry book, I've been waking up and I read it for like at least an hour every morning, and then I'm like supposed to be getting up and getting ready, but I'm just like one more chapter. It's so good.
That does sound good.
I think you would like Prince Harry's book.
Autobiographies.
He's a good writer. Again, I thought
Did he ghostwrite it?
No, I think he wrote it because at the end of the day,
he's got nothing else to do. He's doing psychedelics and writing books.
He's got an Eton education. So it's like, even though in the book it like talks about how he was kind of considered like dumb and he didn't like thrive in school. I'm like, at the end of the day though, doing poorly at Eton is not the same. Like that was probably like, getting like full A stars at a regular public school in England. So anyway, what is your religious affiliation? I'm going to put Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because that's the only religion I've ever been. What is your ethnicity? White. Do you have a known learning disability? No. How often do you engage in secular, non-religious reading activities, such as books or articles? I'm going to say daily. How much on average, how many books do you read a year? More than 10. Which types of reading materials do you prefer? Fiction and non-fiction, I'm going to say.
I would love to seriously enter a fiction era.
How it's so easy.
It is. It's
Start
the
with
best.
memoir, because I think that's like a good.
Narrative.
How
at
often do
least.
you encounter unfamiliar words while reading? Occasionally. How comfortable? This is a boring survey. How comfortable do you feel using a dictionary?
Just go fast. Let's get to the. I think it'd be.
All right. What is the key difference? Oh my God, so cringe. What is the key difference between reading the scriptures and studying the
Ashley's
scriptures?
here. I'm gonna go let them up.
Okay, you guys can do this survey with me. Even if it's boring, it will be fine again in like 3 minutes. So just stay with me here. Okay. What is the key difference between reading the scriptures and studying the scriptures? Option A, reading the scriptures is a passive activity while studying the scriptures involves active engagement and analysis. B, reading the scriptures involves a quick overview of the text, while studying the scriptures involves in-depth analysis and reflection. I feel like those are like basically the same answer, a passive activity versus a quick overview of the text. Reading the scriptures is done for enjoyment or familiarity, while studying the scriptures is focused on understanding and application. I'm going to put B. Reading the scriptures involves a quick overview of the text, while studying the scriptures involves in-depth analysis. Which of the following best describes your general approach when interacting with the scriptures? A, I predominantly read the scriptures. B, I engage in more reading than studying. Just the fact that they're adding like another layer of, I suppose, like another status game to it by being like, you're not allowed to just read the scriptures. You have to study the scriptures. I'm going to say I have an equal balance of reading and studying. How often do you study the scriptures? I used to do it daily, so I'm going to put daily. Do you have a prescribed method? I'm going to say I have a general approach, but adapt it based on the content or my needs. Do you typically pray before engaging in scripture study? I'm going to put yes most of the time. When you engage in scripture study, do you typically have a specific purpose or intention in mind? I'm getting bored and I kind of want to bounce out of this survey. You're not reading the scriptures because you're reading them wrong. Yeah, I know. Even if you're reading them every day, it's not good enough. Do you typically have a specific purpose or intention in mind? I'm going to say I often have a purpose or intention, but it varies depending on the day or topic. Do you find scripture study to be important in your religious or spiritual journey? I'm going to put yes. It says, please explain why or why not you find scripture study important. At what point can I just put a link to the CES letter in this? Do you understand the difference between reading the scriptures and studying the scriptures? I'm going to put yes, I clearly understand the difference. On average, how much time do you spend studying the scriptures during each session? I'm going to put I'm going to put 15 to 30 minutes. What are the main challenges you face when studying the scriptures? I'm going to put other. The Book of Mormon is fictitious. Have you ever received guidance or instruction on effective scripture study? Yes, regularly. Which resources? So sorry you're having to do this with me. Now it's a sunk cost fallacy and I have to finish it. Which resources or tools do you typically use? I'm just going to put all of them. How do you feel about the language used in the scriptures? The survey sucks. Get me out of here.
That's what I'm saying.
Hello, Ash.
We were just talking about wild geese.
The benevolent Oliver kind or the scary kind?
Both, actually.
How could such a deep belief in Mormonism not translate into a belief of Reformed Christianity?
I'd say rather than a Reformed Christianity, I have more of like an integrated Christianity, recognizing that it is like that the Bible has been like a prominent facet of our collective morality and our spiritual stories, and that like it's just kind of impossible to get away from a discussion on Christianity. And so it's kind of like integrating the aspects about it that resonate, that are also mirrored in other cultural texts and stories and religions, as well as integrating information that undermines most of mainstream Christianity's propositions, which is that the Bible is like literally true, or, it's trying to take a more informed approach to Christianity. And again, integrating new information with the old resonance.
I'm starting shit on the Mormon subreddit.
But if you're interested, like Fowler Stages of Faith, I know a lot of ex-Mormons know about that, where he talks about the progression of faith from, like this mythic, literal stage where you just believe it all like a child believes, just like unable to distinguish between fantasy and reality. And then most people get to a place where they have to wrestle a little bit with some contradictions. But then there are more stages of like complete relinquishing and then integrating. And he talks about the people who have like gone the full distance, the full spectrum of faith, and uses examples of people like Gandhi, who said, I'm a Hindu, but I'm also a Muslim and a Buddhist and a Christian. And it's just like realizing that humanity as a whole is what it's about, not these isolated institutions claiming supremacy.
Someone wrote on the Mormon subreddit, hello, I have a question about Trinity. I'm a faithful member and such, but I've always wondered about the creeds and the Trinity have in comparison to our church. I also don't understand why other Christians are so disrespectful. And I commented, they'll probably remove my comment. I thought I got banned from this subreddit years ago. But I said, interestingly, the church taught that the Godhead was one being for around 20 years. This was reflected in the scriptures and all church teachings, which changed as Joseph's view of the Godhead evolved. It's also reflected in earlier versions of the first vision. Can't wait for that to get deleted.
Yeah, bye-bye.
But I had to do it to him.
I remember Gordon B. Hinckley saying something to the effect of like, I can't see how anybody could believe something as crazy as the Trinity. And I'm like, well, the Trinity kind of makes sense. Like, though, I mean, it's all like comic book lore when you think about it, like where metaphysics is like anyone can say that metaphysics are whatever they want it to be. And there's like no way to prove it. That's by definition what they are. So it's like, doesn't really matter. But
do you know what would be such a fun video?
Real steeped in it.
I don't know if we could crowdsource enough, but it would be, like we read out people's Dear John letters that they received on their missions. I think that'd be really fun.
That would be a fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Dear John.
It's like so few days until Taylor Swift's Speak Now comes out for the second time.
Speak Now?
The re-release of her album Speak Now. You know how she's
re-releasing? Was that one by, did Scooter take it?
He took all of them.
All of them.
Well,
so she's just re-releasing.
She's re-releasing all of it. She's gotcha. So far she's re-released Fearless and Red, and now she's re-releasing Speak Now, which is the album about John Mayer. And John Mayer is
I didn't even know she did an album about John Mayer. I didn't even know she did
John Mayer. The whole album is about, yeah, no, he totally, in his 30s, like preyed on a lot of like 19-year-old girls, like her, Jessica Simpson.
Oh, I thought we've known for decades that he was a
he's a piece of shit. Like he like tried to get Jessica Simpson to lose weight, and yeah, he's a bad guy.
But now he talks about it comedically.
Does he? How?
I saw him a video of him like playing the guitar and being like, yeah, I was kind of a dick. I didn't really know, just like.
Okay, that's something. Bible Taylor's version. Okay, we have some more Venmo super chats to read out. If you just joined, we're doing Venmo super chats for those of you who don't want to give YouTube a third of the money. Thank you to Lauren, who says...
We're all just streaming each other back to life. Us this way, and you guys through revenue streaming us.
Okay, Lauren said, donation for the continuation of reading Jack Wayland and other cringe novels. I live for those episodes. Yeah, we need to do another Stephanie.
We love Stephanie.
Maybe today, but like ASAP. Our Stephanie series on Patreon right now is so funny and good. Okay, also thank you to Rebecca, who says, had my first coffee today, so I'm in a silly mood.
Wow, did you enjoy it? The first coffee I ever had, it was like literally like black coffee, and I was like, this tastes like garbage water. I don't.
Also, it's 2:49. We're rapidly approaching my 3 p.m. caffeine cutoff, so I'm actually gonna make myself a cup of coffee. Oh. Thank you, Rebecca, for the reminder.
Well, can I get in on that? Yeah, I would love to get even more caffeinated. That's what I need. I pulled a Stephanie today, so I'm like, I spent the first 20 minutes of our time together in abject terror.
What did you call it?
A hippie speedball. Oh, Ash wants in on the coffee train. Is that possible?
Can you split a cup with Hannah, or would you like an iced chai?
How's everything? All right, it's just you and me and our guy Paddington, to whom all praise be given.
Also, if we wanted to send this into a Treats for Banksy fundraiser.
A Treat for Banksy fundraiser.
Now that every time we film, Banksy might get treats. So
I'm editing the Saturday's Warrior video, and there's Banksy is just sitting there for so much of it. It's so cute. Everyone grab their second coffee. It's pre-Friday, pre-weekend. Last little tail end of the week. We're hitting it hard. One more cup of coffee. One more cup of coffee for the road. Do you want me to do more Bob Dylan impressions, or you guys tell me what to do? I'm your little Jesty today. You say dance, I say I say how much. You say jump, I say how high. You say smoke, I say how high. Today I got on Jordan Peterson's Twitter just to see what was going on there, and it was a nightmare. I just cannot believe that he is still being hailed as some kind of public intellectual or moralist. It's like, how can someone with so much overt contempt toward women, can we still be holding up as like a some kind of insight creator? Like, what is he doing? I first started Jordan Peterson. Sorry, I'm turning this into a Jordan Peterson thing. I knew we'd get back here. I first got into him because, like, when I left the church and started getting into psychedelics, I, of course, found my way to Joe Rogan. And we were having this conversation the other day. I know that Joe Rogan doesn't push back against people, and I know that he platforms a lot of...
Sometimes he pushes back.
Sometimes he does, yeah. And I think with a lot of the feedback he's gotten, he's been maybe a little bit more proactive about it. But I think, like, in general, I would rather hang out with Joe Rogan than, like, Jordan Peterson, for instance.
Sure.
Like, anyway, I don't really listen to Jordan Peterson these days, but that was my intro to Jordan Peterson, was through Joe Rogan. Through Joe Rogan, and it was my introduction. Oh my God, Jack! It was my introduction into Jungian psychology. So I was like, "Whoa, this is so interesting," and has parallels to some of the experiences that I've had, and giving me context. And so I started listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson, and then over time, I was like, "Oh, I only enjoy when he's quoting like Jung or Nietzsche, or
him,
but all his original takes and all his original commentary is horrific. It all seems like I said, deeply resentful of women, very authoritarian, anti-science. Like, his Twitter feed that I went through this morning was just like all climate denial stuff. And that one, I'm like, for anybody claiming to be any kind of intellectual and to be a climate denier, like, it's like, most people, the more informed they are on the functions of science, are understand and accept the reality of human influence climate change. The closer you get to a study of climate and the sciences that surround it, the more people tend to take climate change seriously. The people who are most involved in climate research, it's like 99% of scientists involved in climate research. It's because the more you know about these processes and the more you see how it all works together, the more you're like, oh yeah, we can't just constantly be pumping fossil fuel into the air that is influencing. And it's not just the air, it's what's happening with the oceans, that's what's happening with the forests. And for Jordan Peterson to just constantly be like, oh, this is just some big government conspiracy, it's like, oh yeah, what's more likely? There's a huge conspiracy to make the world better and more healthy for everyone, even if we like that meme that's like, what if we make the world a better place for nothing? And it's like, well, we would have made the world a better place. And there's no doubt that fewer fossil fuels would be literally better for everybody, for the environment, for our bodies. And yet,
hate when conspiracy theories I hate when the truth accidentally favors the billionaires, as it does. Just the fact that people could think climate change was a conspiracy and it also just happens to benefit the richest people on the planet for us to believe that.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm like, if it was true that climate change wasn't real, then it would be so easy to assert that as the truth because it would have the backing of all the billionaires. So right. I mean, there'll be nothing stopping it from being asserted as truth.
And what's crazy is like the billionaires, I mean, they also are owning the the green innovation things. Like they own both the old energy systems and the new ones. They just want to keep burning out till they run out of that one before they switch to this one, knowing that it'll be a cheaper process with quicker turnaround for these ghouls who just want to make $1 gazillion before they die and don't care who they have to kill, what countries they have to topple. This warlord class that literally can do anything because they'll kill you if you disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty spooky stuff.
If someone said they want to try coffee before they die, but do they say they hate the smell? Anyway, my advice
hate the
to
smell
anyone,
of coffee?
if you don't like coffee yet, go to Starbucks and get an iced caramel macchiato. It'll be so sweet. It'll be the perfect intro.
Yeah.
Also, Nicola, yes, I could see myself moving back to the UK, but the thing is, because I'm freelance, so basically if I want to move back with Jared, my partner, to say nothing of the fact that I'll be leaving Tanner, for him to get a visa, either I have to have a job offer of a certain amount of money from a company in the UK, which doesn't really work with what I do for a living.
Especially as we're trying to avoid
I have to have $80,000 in the bank for Jared to be able to move to the UK with me. So,
Well, with all the super chats
Venmo
we've got
in the
today.
description, yeah. Just need to get rich enough that is a financial possibility for me. Someone just simply said Little Orphan Tanny.
I am always thinking about Little Orphan Tanny and little skits that I should do. But
Thinking about being.
Yeah.
Also, where is it? Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro. I'm like, Joe Rogan is probably the best of those four.
Yeah, definitely.
Which isn't saying that much, but you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Elon Musk just gets lamer and lamer. I can't believe it.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
But,
We had a party in 2017 and Jenny wrote on a projector on the wall, "Fuck Elon Musk." And we were all like, what? And everyone was like, what? She was like, no,
he's doing,
fuck Elon Musk.
Yeah, because originally he was kind of seen as a bit of like an eco warrior.
Well, because that's how it was all PR at a more naive time.
Oh, every time I see you two, you keep getting more and more cutest and funniest.
Oh.
Doesn't feel like
that's
that.
countering some of your self-sabotaging narratives.
My narrative is like, you're less funny all the time. I'm putting ganja butter in my coffee. Hell yeah. Oh, Badass Mother Hugger.
Have a blessed day.
Badass Mother Hugger. Were they in a stream recently? Is that why I'm remembering that name? I
think so.
Yeah. Moccas are also a good place to start. Yes.
Maca.
All right. Anyone want to send us any more super chats? We can wrap this up soonish. So we've got a pitch deck to make.
We're trying to hit a brand so that we can stop shaking all you down.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to sell out to
Once
the big
we're in our
corps.
brand deal era, then we won't have to keep begging you guys for money.
But then you'll have to hear ads, but we'll try to make them funny.
But I'm going to be like obsessive about us not taking any brand deals we don't like genuinely support. Because I just think you have to start as you mean to go on with stuff like that.
You have to, yeah. No way, we're going to be touring Shein soon.
What?
The Shein factory tour. Did you see that?
We are getting on the next Tarte trip, whether it kills us. I mean, I like Tarte. They're a decent brand, but Shein, no thanks. Someone said on the Mormon subreddit, I need some prayers for my mission. And they started by saying, hello, I am from the great state of Florida.
Already my condolences.
Yeah, already
so
praying
sorry
for you,
about
hon.
that. Yeah, every day I pray for you.
And received my mission call a few months ago to serve in Johannesburg, South Africa. Don't send people from Florida to Africa. I don't think it's right. I submitted my visa paperwork at the end of March, and I'm supposed to be headed out on Monday, but I have not received my visa yet. Oh, it sounds like there's just like travel logistics. Top comment, you will learn on your mission to always have a plan B, because for whatever reason, your plan A just may have been the path to plan B. Okay, I used to love that Jeffrey R. Holland Mormon message that they did that was like, it was called Wrong Roads. And it was like, sometimes God lets us go down the wrong road so that we know when we're at the right road. Mm-hmm. And I actually do think that is like a decent message even to this day. Like sometimes when you try out something that doesn't work, you're like, oh, well, now I know for sure that doesn't work. So then the other thing is the right call.
Yeah, that's kind of how science works.
Yeah.
Whether God is involved or not, it's like trial and error. Yeah.
You should vlog a Mormon history museum visit. We have an idea in the works. Yeah. That Sam, smuggle us back to the UK. I'm not the least bit employable.
I love that you work in environmental policy.
If you want to try something...
no, I'm trying to spill oil directly into our wetlands.
Someone is saying if you want to try something less sugary, give cold brew a shot. It's surprisingly great on its own, way more approachable than drip and espresso. I personally can't imagine being able to stomach cold brew, having never developed a palate for coffee. That seems really tough.
But like a
I guess with milk,
an ice caramel latte or something.
I just think you gotta make it as sweet. But I wonder if also, like, when I was trying to get into coffee, I also was young and had no taste. Like, I didn't like alcohol yet. I didn't like anything bitter yet. So I wonder if that's part of it too. But it does seem like coffee is a acquired taste. I need more Stephanie. I'm dying to read the next Stephanie.
Yeah, maybe we should hop onto a Stephanie.
Yeah, maybe we should hop onto Patreon right now. Let's read a couple more posts on the Mormon Reddit while you guys do your final donations to the channel, and then we'll hop on over to Patreon. Sorry, being so annoying. There's no way to ask for money that isn't cringe. Oh my God, someone's saying, how do I physically prepare for Trek? I'm really out of shape and have barely any stamina. I was told that we're walking 4 miles every day. 4 miles in
That's not too bad.
Well, I guess if it's in like intense heat and you
are
have to
pulling a
push
hand cart.
Yeah. Jokes for missionary work.
I love LARPing as an old-timey polygamist. One of my favorite activities. I still do a trek by myself every
Just as a sort of spiritual pilgrimage. During priesthood, the topic of missionary work came up. One of our members expressed the concern of being socially awkward, but he does like telling jokes. I suggested he use jokes to bring up missionary work. He was open to the idea, so I'm looking up joke ideas. I think anytime you're looking up jokes, they're not going to be funny. Also, Ivana sent us another magical number super chat saying, "Hail Satan," but it's Satan like the vegan kind, which is the best kind. Thank you so much. Temple divorce. Ladies,
remember
where
that
do
comment
you
we got
shop?
from someone who grew up in the like super rich wards, who said they knew that billionaire family that gets to choose their own missions and
Wait, what?
and they get to choose which apostle does their wedding. And
wait, that isn't
'cause it's
surprising
like
at
high-level
all, but like
donors.
I haven't heard that. So if you're super rich, you can choose where you go on mission.
I mean, yeah, if you're like a
Thoughts on divorce? Oh, I'd love to fucking share my thoughts on divorce. More specifically, did you feel conflicted when mulling over divorce, or was it a mutual growing apart when you left? Love from the UK. Sending love to the UK. I was hoping to go this summer, but financially couldn't run to it. But I love divorce.
And now the UK is coming to us.
Yes.
Your mom is coming over.
My mom's coming in September. I think divorce is awesome. I also don't like the institution of marriage. Doesn't resonate with me at this point in my life. I would only see myself getting married for, like practical green card based reasons. In terms of feeling conflicted when I was mulling over divorce, no, not at all. Other than just the sort of, it's hard to break up with people. And I think anytime you're going through a breakup, you question it. And because it's hard and our brains are wired to maintain our attachments at all costs, there is that piece of you that's like, maybe we'll get back together. And most people don't get divorced straight away. You do like a little period of separation or a big period. And I think in that time, it's easier. It's easy to feel like maybe we'll get back together, maybe we won't. But in terms of like morally or philosophically, no, zero conflict in my mind about divorce. I just think there's no sense putting the, what's the word? Just like the conceptual reality of the relationship above what you're each experiencing as individuals. And if anyone is looking for a relationship transition coach, SamanthaShelleyCoaching.com. Thank you to Della Common, who said, for one, thanks, Sam, for the kind words on the Utah photos I sent. Oh, you saw those, right? Someone sent us, they came to Utah and took like really bomb photos.
Oh, yeah.
And also in regards to the Q&A episode, is anyone saying, Benzie smells bad.
Stinks.
I know. Why does he smell bad? He doesn't normally smell bad. As a Never Mormon, U2's chemistry can work with any topic, not just Exmo content. Talent is talent. That's what we keep saying to the agents who won't sign us. Talent is talent, babe.
Kelly, that's so cool what you do with your work and wolves. Let me know when you go feral. Would love to visit your wolf pack.
Wait, what work with wolves do you do?
When I was in elementary school, like first grade, I had a gang called the Running Wolves. Ray has a joke that he had being right for us.
Why did Zelf cross the Mississippi River?
To get to the Native American mounds.
Also, I like that someone said, I love Trek. I love nature and felt very connected to nature on Trek. Some people do have good Trek experiences, and I can totally see that. It seems like it probably depends on how harsh the leadership are.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way about like scouts. I'm really grateful, even though like the program is problematic and it like sucked that it was boys only and that the girls didn't get to do things like that. But I am really grateful that it got me out into nature and instilled that love in me.
Amelia, who I think has already sent us multiple 2 other super chats this video sent us another one. And
What?
said, making my day brighter.
Amelia.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope that
People are so
this
nice to
comes
us.
back
guys
to
are
you
so-
karmically in whatever ways. And we promise you a banger of a Saturday's Warrior video.
It's coming.
Why does Banksy smell bad? It's stressing me out. Oh, thank you, Chowder. Sam, would you feel differently about divorce if you had young kiddos? I mean, yeah, I do think kids, like, how could they not be something that is a part of your decision to get divorced? But I also feel like if a relationship isn't what, and maybe I think with kids, maybe I'd be more inclined to get couples therapy or maybe like try more things to see if it could work. Because I feel like me and my ex-husband were young enough that it was like we don't like have to make this work for any reason. Like we're free to just go our separate ways, and neither of us had held marriage as any kind of sacred cow at that point. But I do also think that like I'm a child of divorce, and it was great that my parents got divorced. And I think kids don't benefit from seeing their parents in a loveless marriage or in a marriage where there's a lot of conflict. And like kids can sense when their parents are unfulfilled or, like suffering for a relationship. And ultimately, I think a lot of parents that might stay together for the kids, it's like you're also teaching your kids what to accept in relationships. And if your relationship isn't a relationship you'd be okay with your kids being in, I think that's something to really seriously think about. Because I don't think divorce is like inherently bad and traumatic for kids. It's kind of like the whole thing with trauma. It's not necessarily the thing that happens. It's like how they're able to recover. And often like with a lot of trauma kids go through, it's like the shame that they keep hidden and that they have. So I think there's absolutely a way to co-parent and help kids navigate your divorce that, can ultimately be good for them, better than you staying together and sticking it out. I also think parents or like adults a lot of the time will use kids as an excuse to avoid things they're scared of. I'm kind of talking beyond divorce here, but you know what I mean? Just like, I mean, even with like drag, the amount, I know it's like, this is a tangent, but like adults invoking kids as like the reason. It's like, no, it's just like your own homophobia. Like,
how am I supposed to explain this to kids? It's like, you lie to kids about Santa Claus. Like, this is just because kids are so open, they'll just believe what you tell them. They don't have these preconceived ideas about, marriage has to exist forever. It's like, oh yeah, we've done it this way and we're going to do it this way. And we still love you so much. And you model to them what it's like to prioritize your well-being, and they'll see that. And if they see their parent prioritizing their well-being, they'll see how to do that. And when we talked in our eunuch and divorce episode, I reeled through everybody I know who got a divorce, and I couldn't think of a single person where it wasn't a good thing for them, because relationships should last as long as they're good for everybody involved. And then if it's just got to a point where it's like, I do believe people can like, reinvigorate their love and find their passion again and all that, and that could be worth doing, especially in families that don't want to inherently separate. But like, they're outside of the religious story and little thing that they sold us, it doesn't have to be that way, and so therefore it doesn't have to be inherently traumatic to children. Because here's the thing, like, to me it's kind of insane that we think it somehow benefits kids for parents to pretend to have a romantic connection that they do not have. Like, that's not beneficial. And I also think you can, like, loving, healthy co-parenting absolutely exists. And it can be so much easier to love, the other parent of your kids when you don't have to force yourself to like pretend to be you, when you don't have to like force your relationship into a structure that it just doesn't make sense for it to be in. I just think it's insane that anyone expects people to like pretend for kids. I mean, obviously some, you know what I mean? And it's got to be so, I mean, I think we've all stayed in relationships longer than we should have. Not that you really can, like, you only learn lessons as fast as you can. Like, there is no rushing reality, but and just the way that things play out naturally. But I've learned to see certain things faster and then be like, okay, that's just not going to vibe for me. And I just have a lot of compassion for people who, especially young or especially under the influence of the church, got into relationships and had kids very early and have not had to experience like being single, for instance, in a post-religious way, or, you know, because it's hard to be alone, and you do have to like grow and stretch and like find your footing, and it is very hard to do, especially if you've never done it before, and especially if you have kids that like. And I think we should be honest, a lot of people had kids under pretenses that if they had now wouldn't have had kids. And that's okay to feel that way as parents. Like you can have mixed feelings. We have mixed feelings about everything. Like, and of course parents will have mixed feelings about kids, and it's okay to be like, yeah, it's totally worth it. And I wouldn't want to change it in any way. And I'm glad they're here. And I wouldn't have made that decision if I had all the information up front. And you know, everything's really complex. We have nothing but compassion for anybody out there.
Well, yeah, no judgment for anyone's decisions. I totally understand why people stay together for their kids. But I just think breakups are a part of life, and kids are going to have to go through breakups. And it's not better for kids to never go through a breakup. You know what I'm saying? Thank you again. Oh, thank you to Hannah, who sent us a super chat on Venmo and said, give me Stephanie or give me death. I'm with you. And then also thank you to Alicia again, who said, is Stephanie going to be live on Patreon after this? Please say yes. We actually could do it as a live if you wanted to.
The only problem that we have with that is then it doesn't go into the playlist.
Well, it will go into the playlist. It's just if we then make the videos public on YouTube, which is what we came up against because we did that with Sam and Adam. But I don't think we'll be doing that with Stephanie.
We should just keep it.
Yeah, so we actually could do it as a live after this.
I'd be down. Do you guys want to do a live, Stephanie?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Ivana said, did any of you ever meet Heather Armstrong? Do you know who Heather Armstrong is? So she was like one of the original mummy bloggers. She went by Juice, I think. And our friend Kelly actually used to be a nanny for her. She recently committed suicide. I'm not supposed to say committed suicide, are we? But she recently killed herself, which is like devastating for a lot of people because she was like really funny and I think helped a lot of other people with her depression. Anyway, it's really sad that happened. But so no, I've never met her, but Kelly and Jared have both met her. My kids are champs. They're resilient. They just want you to be happy. Just follow your gut. Get out of the yuck. My parents divorced and it sucked as a kid. I also think another thing is like a lot of like in the past, parents going through like, again, mental health and like, I don't know, understanding how to healthily process emotions, I still feel like is so new. It's kind of coming into the mainstream more and more. And I think in the past, divorce probably did mean a ton of trauma for kids because parents didn't know how to talk about it without shame because they felt shame around it. And it was just, you know, like reading Prince Harry's book, he talked about how his mum died and like nobody really like talked about it. Like they just kind of had to like act like everything was normal. So I do just think the way that parents maybe got divorced in the past and also the way that they would help their kids navigate it, you know, there's like a massive opportunity for that to evolve. And I think it has evolved. Like, I just think we know so much more now about psychology and how to help kids navigate that stuff. So it doesn't have to be like the horror stories of yore.
I mean, I saw a Republican person running for office or in some school board meeting talking about how the liberal woke agenda is trying to get kids in touch with their feelings so that they can rebel against their parents.
Okay, thank you to, did we already say thank you to Hannah? Thank you to Hannah.
I'll say
for the
you
super chat.
again
If
to
it's
Hannah.
a double thanks, then yeah, that was give me Stephanie or give me Death. Okay, and then also thank you to Forrest, who said, thanks for helping me deconstruct Mormonism. You and Tanner are so genuine, funny, kind, and well-spoken. I love everything you guys do. Keep it up. Sending love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Badass Mother Hugger also said, my kid's dad committed suicide and my kids are really well adjusted. Just take care of yourself and your kids will be okay. I agree with that. And I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Ray, I didn't realize having no kids was an option I could want until years after I left the church. Yeah. Yes.
Jack Whalen reading would bring world peace. A live stream.
I agree with that. Imagine if Sam and Tanner were suddenly billionaires. We'd probably be like not billionaires within a week because we'd be like, we got to help people with this money.
It's weird how we don't have to go back into billionaire talk and capitalism.
I
But
have to pee so bad, so you should
I have
go
to
into
too.
it.
I have the world's smallest bladder. I get the Go Piss Girl Awards. Oh, it's just back with us. I guess I'll go on my capitalism rant. Just been thinking about how crazy it is that our whole financial system is based on this like object fetishism, where we believe that we are entitled to have whatever we want now that like we should just be able to make any godforsaken item out of plastic, mass produce it, and then send it out into the world to just be devoured over this span of thousands and thousands of years as it slowly quickly wrecks our environment, which we need for our own sustenance. It's just absolutely bonkers. And I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think we're going to be able to just endlessly make everything out of plastic and have it on our doorsteps instantly. But we'd love to see other alternatives. It's crazy that plastic bags are still legal. There's just like just endlessly pump this shit out there. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to keep fucking up our DNA. But, you know, maybe Jeff Bezos does ayahuasca this week and has some insight about how to better shape the world. I'm kind of glad they say you can't become a billionaire ethically, that at some point that much acquisition of power requires you to exploit people. And I think there might be something to that. That's just me. I know, right? Plastic bags are everywhere, and plastic everything, everywhere, all the time. You can't escape it. Like I've like every day, I'm like, oh my God, another plastic thing. And we've been watching a lot of nature documentaries too recently, and that's always harrowing because you're like, oh, all these beautiful animals and all these systems that we rely on every day for our living breath and our. Hi, Ash, do you want to join me? I'm so scared and alone out here. Oh, thank God, Chowder sent $2. What's the alternative? That's the trick in it. Ash, give it up for Ash. Is this your first time on a live stream or just you've been on this show before, but first time live streaming?
One live stream.
First time caller?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just working the live long day away for capitalism.
While you're here, what's it like dating me?
Just kidding.
What's Tana's best quality as a boyfriend and worst quality as a boyfriend? You have to say an answer for both.
Well, he's not a boy, which is
best quality. You're just so sweet and kind and caring, and we have so much fun together. I could go on a list of like 1,000 best qualities, and worst quality is. And it's not even like a bad quality, but
spill it, the tea.
Well, I think you stress yourself out a little bit over like capitalism, which isn't your fault. So it's not even a bad quality to have, but
it's billionaires' fault.
Yeah, it's billionaires' fault. So it's not even. But I think sometimes like. The system really gets to you, as it does all of us, which isn't even a bad quality. It's just a quality of being human.
So you're saying that these viewers have an opportunity to fix Tana's worst quality right now?
Stress. Yes. Yes, because I want to go on 1,000,000 vacations together.
Yeah, content creating.
And I want to come too.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a peep, I promise.
We need you to make several peeps on camera.
Get out of your chair.
Did you already thank these?
You can hang out if you want. I mean, no rush to leave.
I'm just working the live long day away.
All right, well,
But maybe
we'll be right
I'll
up in a minute.
come listen to Stephanie.
Did you thank Chowder? Where are we at on this?
We did.
What's the alternative? You already thanked.
We didn't talk about Della Common. So what you're saying is you'd not spend $250,000 on seeing the Titanic in an unregulated sub? Are you an American?
I really, really wouldn't.
I for sure would have used the Guitar Hero handle. That seems like the only sensible mechanism for driving a ship such as that.
Ray. Back at it again with the Venmo.
I feel a little bit more fixed. I mean, my vasectomy definitely fixed me in a big way, but I feel more fixed this way. My vasectomy is my best quality. Yeah, you can buy happiness.
Once again, Ray is the closest thing we have to a boss. And once again, Ray, do not give us any more money than you can afford to give us. I just have like
that military money.
Just the thought of anyone giving us money when they could spend it on a little treat for themselves. I'm like,
I know. My problem is I think of everybody else being as like financially wigged out as I am, and I'm like, oh my God, anyone sending me $10 seems like a lot, and then I'm like, oh my God, people drop so much money sometimes.
I know, not often.
Does Ray get a producer credit? Honestly, at this point. All right, should we wrap this up and go over and do
Yeah,
Stephanie?
we'll do a Stephanie live.
I'm
Let's
so
do it. That'll be
excited.
fun. Keep
Yeah.
the party going. Happy Thursday.
Cool. Thank you all for being here. This was a mishmash for like, also we've gone for like nearly 2 hours, but I honestly had a good time.
Yeah, me too. I love live streaming.
It
It's a fun
hasn't
tradition.
felt like work. It's just felt like hanging out with my best friend while people send us money.
Mm.
Crazy.
I wish we could print the money that's Venmo'd to us, and then we could put it in our little, really give people a show. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would
Ellen,
be-
you are my little treat.
Mm.
Oh.
All right. See you at the Stephanie
Love
block
you.
party.
See you on Patreon.
Love
You're
you
all the
guys.
best.
Have a great weekend. If we don't see you before, y'all are great. Love you.